Hello everyone. I'm not going to say good morning because it's not. It is about 1:20 to 1:30 in the afternoon on this very cold day in my house. I have some stock going in my slow cookers right now, and I'm going to let them roll for another couple of hours. And I was getting ready to make myself some lunch. And one of the things that I'm doing is going through my pantry and using up some of the things that I did a year ago, all right? And so some of the oldest stuff that I have in my pantry is a year ago. And so one of the things I did was made up quite a bit of soup and a year ago. And so I am looking to use that up, and this is a perfect time to do it. I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to show you something that I found on my shelf. As I'm going through this stuff, I'm checking the lids as well. And I found a false seal. And that means that whatever's in that jar is no good and needs to go away. And so what I'm going to do is, because we're in the middle of a freeze and I don't have a garbage disposal, so I can't go down the garbage disposal. And it's going to be until Friday before I can take the trash out. I'm going to place it in my refrigerator with the lid on it and not touch it, and then let it go out in the trash on Friday. But I'm going to show you how I figured out it was a false seal. It appears to be sealed, but I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me turn you around. All right, as you can see, I have two jars here. Let me resituate you so I can get in front of the camera and show you what I mean, okay? So I picked up this one first. It says chicken soup, and I thought, ooh, chicken soup would sound good. But then, look. You see that? That means that when I tested it, it seemed to have been sealed, but it actually was not. Okay? And so this has to go out. I can't use it. Then I went and picked up a beef stew one, and you can see it's sealed. Okay? So this one is just like this. I'm going to put it in my refrigerator. I'm not going to touch it. Okay? Because more than likely this chicken has, you know, it's bad. Okay? And so we are going to put this aside, and I will deal with it on trash day on Friday. Okay? And now we're going to move on to make my beef stew. All right? I'm going to use this beef stew up. So here we are at the stove, and you can see that I have my jars ready to be canning my chicken broth. And I have my pot over here that I'm going to make my beef stew in. When I make beef stew in like this, I go ahead and can the beef stew like this, like I did in the jar. But then I add in a thing of cream of mushroom soup. And the reason is because I like this particular canning session. I put way too much pepper, black pepper in it. And so this, it smells good. It was sealed. The seal was still good on it. So it's ready to go. And I'm just going to take this and put it in here. Just like that. And we are not going to let this goodness go to waste. I still have my water dripping in my house because it's still below freezing outside. And that's kind of what we have to do in this area to ensure that our pipes are not going to freeze is Just to keep it at a nice slow drip. And then we are going to shake that up and get all of that out of the bottom. Okay. And then wash my hands. I just got that beef broth all over my hands. And while I'm washing my hands, I'm also filling up this jar. Just let it soak. And this lid is going in the trash because I've already used it. So, all right, so I got that in there. It is a cold in my house. Okay, let me look. It is 50 degrees inside, 31 outside, so it's still freezing outside. The steps on my porch are iced over, and so even though I threw salt out there, they still iced over. So let me get heat going on in here. All right, get that heating up. And I'm gonna throw in some mushroom soup. We'll see if I use this whole can. I may only use half of it and save the rest of it for another day. Okay. Now, let me get this cream of mushroom soup in there. And that just splashed in my eye. Yep, just like that. Okay, I think I'm going to use half the can, and then the rest of this, I will save it for another pot of soup. Okay. Now this beef stew was a bunch of different kinds of beef that I had gotten from the food bank last year that I had in my freezer at the time. And I took it and I diced it up into cubes like that, added in some potatoes and carrots, and put it all in a jar, diced up some potatoes and carrots and put it all in a jar, and then canned it. And I believe the recipe that I used was from one of the canning books that I have, but it called for a lot of pepper, and I wasn't thinking straight at the time, and so I didn't realize it had that much pepper in it. And so when I opened up the first jar and realized, ooh, that's a lot of pepper, I decided that I was going to add in some cream of mushroom soup to kind of cut that pepper. Okay. And we're going to see how it works. And it's gonna thicken up this sauce as well. Okay. All right, while this is heating up, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of that cream of mushroom soup in a container and seal it and put it in the refrigerator. And I'll bring you back. And this, my friends, is why I why I can soups, right, for days like today. Okay, here we are, Spice and I. We're staying warm. Yeah, my buddy. Don't lick me in the face. We are staying warm, cuddling with each other. And yes, we are. He thinks I'm talking to him. But he wanted to get up in my lap for a little bit and get warm. He just went outside and did his business. He's really good about that, about getting outside and doing his business, except when it's raining. He doesn't like it. I literally have to put him on a leash and walk out in the rain myself. Okay. But even in this cold, but then he likes to get up in my lap and snuggle with me to get warm because he's shivering when he comes in from outside. But guys, this is us. We're in this one little room right now until my beef broth gets done and ready to go to be canned, and then we will be busy. We will be busy in the kitchen. Okay. It is still freezing outside, and it is supposed to have, I know you guys up north don't get it with us down south, but we're not used to this bitter cold. And, you know, it's only, what, 3 days maybe out of the year that it actually gets cold enough to heat a house. And so I cannot justify buying a new heater unit. My house is equipped for central heat. It's just, and I have the heater. It's just the heater is too old and they won't allow it to be hooked up. And so I have to get a new one. And I can't justify thousands of dollars getting a new central heating unit only to use it 3 to 4 days out of the year. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? It doesn't. In the old days, we could, we could run these things without the inspection and all that. But these days, they don't allow you to do it. Back when I was a kid, we ran it until it didn't work anymore, okay? But they don't let you do that anymore. And so, this is how we do it. Now, I have heaters, okay? But once again, I can't justify heating the whole house up with electricity when it's just for a few days, okay? And so using the heaters that I have to heat up just a small room is sufficient for us. It is. And then tonight, like what I did last night, I will get out one of my other heaters and I'll put it in the bedroom about 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed, and that'll warm the room up so that when I go to bed it's warm. When I get in underneath all my thermal blanket and everything, it'll stay warm throughout the night inside that thermal blanket, okay? And I'll be good. The only thing I was worried about last night was the freezing of the water pipes. That really concerns me. And so I was up periodically throughout the night last night, checking on the water and making sure it didn't freeze. Oh, I love you too, but not in the face. Okay. And so, guys, this is what we're doing today. We are cuddled up in this room and staying warm, right, Spice? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if y'all can pick it up on the mic, but he is grunting. Ooh. He's grunting. Yeah. His grunting is the way, like, a cat would purr. When he is content, he just, he grunts. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to let spice down. You ready to get down? And then I'm going to show you. Oh, don't get your foot caught. Okay. There you go. All right. Okay. Now, hold on a minute. Oh. I'm sorry, y'all had to see that. Okay. This cold weather has my nose running. Now, I've been petting spice. I just blew my nose. So, antibacterial wipe, hand wipe. I got this from the Essentials Pantry 2 months ago, and I used them. Okay. I use them in this room when I blow my nose. All right, there we go. My hands are clean. And now, the beef stew. We're gonna give it a whirl. Remind you, this is a beef stew that I put on my pantry shelf January of last year. It is good. Adding that cream of mushroom soup to it lowered that pepper. And it is really good. So I have the crackers from when I made my, I call them a cheese board, okay? Cheese and sausage board. I have that to go with my soup for lunch today. And a cup of the decaf coffee. To help keep me warm. We got the heater right down here. And so, I am good to go. Staying warm. And I hope you guys are as well. And I'll see you in the next section of this video. All right, and I want to bring you guys in and let you know that it's about 24 hours since this has been boiling and moving away. And so I am going to turn these off and I'm going to let them cool down for about an hour. And I also wanted to let you know that I found some more bones in the freezer that I had put aside to make broth with. And so I have another pot boiling on the stove, simmering on the stove, that is going to make chicken broth as well. We're going to turn everything off and we're going to let it come down to a temperature that is not going to shock the jars, okay? It may be warm, but not hot, not boiling hot like this. And the reason is because my jars are the room temperature, and so I don't want to shock my jars. And so I'm going to bring the temperature down on these, and then we're going to start filling jars with chicken broth, and we're going to see how many we get out of them, and then we're going to process them, and they'll be on the shelf. In the meantime, I am going to start my tea for the day. I have had a pot of regular coffee, a pot of decaf coffee, and now I'm going to start a pot of tea. And today we're going to have Country Peach Passion. Country Peach Passion for today. And what I'm going to do is I've cleaned the pot, I've cleaned everything, washed out this from the coffees. We're going to put this in here. Set that there. And there we go. And my house has significantly warmed up where I'm not feeling like I'm freezing like crazy, okay? And so I'm doing good at keeping myself and Spice warm today while in the process of making chicken broth. All right? I'll bring you back when we get ready to start jarring up the chicken broth. Hey everyone, this has been a very busy day for me. I want you to see the progress that I have made. All of the chicken broth has been strained and put into the jars. It made 7 quarts of chicken broth, and the bones have been placed in the refrigerator because the trash won't go out until Friday, and so I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator, and then on Friday the used up bones will go out in the trash. Today was a successful day. I have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish today, and I feel real good about it. And so I am heating up my dinner and getting ready to go and sit in front of the computer for the premiere tonight. Okay, you guys be blessed. I am going to continue to bring you along. This one is not over yet because we have to take the chicken broth out of the canner, and it's like 6:45 right now, and the premiere is at 7 o'clock. And so during the premiere I will be working with this as well. Okay, I'll bring you back. All right, we have the pressure cooker going. It's going to process for 25 minutes for quarts. And once it's done, we shut it off, and we'll let it cool down. Check this out. Spice is nice and cozy and sleeping and keeping warm, guys. And he's not by the heater. So it worked. All right, the canner has processed for 25 minutes, and now I've shut off the flame underneath. And if you'll watch, the pressure gauge is coming down. So I'm going to let that pressure gauge get all the way to 0, and that is my signal that I can take the rocker off and let this cool down real slow. And I'm going to let it cool down real slow because my house is cold and I don't want to shock those jars. I'm going to take my time and letting this cool down before I crack that canner open. I also want to let you know that I am also doing the premiere from last night while I'm taking care of the canner as well. So guys, this has been a busy 2 days, but you know what? I'm blessed, but I'm not done with this yet. We're not done today yet. All right, everyone, we are still working on this. I have to take it down slowly so we don't shock the jars. And so I let it go down for about, I let the pressure go down and then let it sit for a good 20 minutes before I crack the lid on the canner. And now I'm going to let it sit for another 15 to 20 minutes to let it acclimate. And then we'll pull the jars out and we'll see if they sealed before I go to bed tonight. All right, we have 7 nice, beautiful quarts of chicken stock. This is the end of my video today, so you guys be blessed because I know I am.